checking seeds, sipping herbal tea, and fight for menstrual equity. Sheesh. Hey, I kick cramps at. Kick cramps at. Kick cramps, kick cramps. Kick cramps, hey, kick cramps, hey, kick cramps, hey, kick cramps, kick cramps, kick cramps, hey, kick cramps, hey. You're now tuned in to the Kick Cramps Ass podcast with your host, Brittany Walker, advocating for menstrual equity, period poverty, and womb wellness. New episodes on Menstruation Mondays.
Hello, everybody. Happy Menstruation Monday. You've made it to the Kick Cramps Ass podcast, where I am your host, Brittany Walker, and we have made it to Monday, October 2nd, 2023. Today's episode 19, we're going to be talking about the Menstrual Blood Chart. So we're going to be reviewing Chapter 18 of NNG's formula to get rid of NNG's formula to kick cramps as a blueprint to naturally get rid of menstrual cramps. All right, so that's chapter 18 that we're going to be getting into. So let's go ahead and get started. We always like to keep off each episode with the I am power statement. I representing inspiration, A representing affirmation, and M representing manifestation. And the I am power statement for today is I am willing to educate myself on the menstrual cycle process so that I am able to deliver the best plan of action for my menstrual cycle journey. Ashe. So there it is. You know, we also like to always sip on a tea of the day. And of course, we are sipping on Cramp Elixir, our home herbal remedy to help you get rid of menstrual cramps. It has all these abundant herbs that's going to assist with your womb wellness and also your optimal wellness. It will assist in mental, emotional, and spiritual as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick sip, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. So in chapter 18 of the book, we do have a menstrual blood chart. For those of you who are on YouTube or on Spotify, I am holding the chart up to the screen so you can see. Anytime that you order a book or any product from us, you will get a menstrual blood chart with your products and services. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So when you have red blood, that actually means that you have a healthy period. When your blood is and I'm going to just hold up this tassel. When it's a fluorescent red, it kind of looks orange closer up. My apologies, but this is a deep ruby red. As long as your blood is a red color, that means you are having a healthy period. Now, when your blood does transition to a pinkish color, that means that you might be having light bleeding. So that means that your cycle is getting ready to start. It can be potential low estrogen levels. So you want to be mindful of that. If you don't have enough estrogen in the body, it can definitely hinder your cycle. And if you have too much estrogen in the body, it can hinder the cycle. So we want to try to maintain some form of balance through the nutrients and the things that we are using on and in our bodies. All right. It can also mean that your nutrient levels are low, or you have a nutrient deficiency. So we have talked about how important it is that the diet and nutrition is for your overall health. Therefore, if you are having a pinkish color, you may be experiencing some type of deficiency. So lack of iron, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, which are the typical four elements that are nutrients that are lost in the actual blood when we are menstruating. But it could be any other it could be zinc, it could be vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin K, B12. So you want to just be mindful of those things, even low fiber levels. And then also, if it's pink, it can mean that your period blood is mixed with vaginal fluid. So some type of discharge, maybe you have some bacteria going around in your vaginal area and you don't realize it. And that could have came from the way that you wipe, just having a sexual experience. It could have been that you've been wearing the same underwear all day. So those things do affect your actual period blood. All right. Now, if your blood is a yellow, green, or orange color, and I know some of you might say, wait, what? Yes, your period blood can turn these colors. If you're experiencing yellow, green, or orange, that means that you might have a vaginal infection. So it might be time to go see a doctor, an OBGYN, just to get a test and checked out. You want to make sure you don't have any type of bacterial vaginosis, a UTI. You might want to also double check to make sure you haven't contracted a sexual transmitted disease like herpes, chlamydia, or something that could be affecting your cycle as well. Now, this also can mean that blood may be mixed with cervical fluid. So you might have some cervical fluid that's being discharged from the body, and that's mixing up with the blood that can cause that color as well. All right, now if you have a purplish color blood, that means you have really, really high estrogen. That means you have an influx of estrogen in your body. So you might want to pay attention to the foods that you're eating. Be mindful of fried foods, high processed foods, alcohol during this time, because those factors will contribute to your estrogen levels. It might mean that you have a vaginal infection. We just mentioned it with the green, yellow, or orange color, so purple can mean the same thing. It also means that blood can be mixed with cervical fluid as well, and it might be an older blood or older fluid that's just now coming down to your actual vagina hole and is being released. And of course, with your menstrual cycle starting, your menstrual cycle could have forced the liquid down as well as your body was releasing those eggs, all right, and shedding those walls. Heavy bleeding. So if you have excess bleeding, if you happen to suffer from menorrhagia, your blood color may be purple. So you have a really, really heavy flow. So be mindful of that. And then it also can mean that you have symptoms of ovarian cyst, PCOS, or endometriosis. So again, if you are noticing these colors, this might be a great time to go ahead and go to your OBGYN or your primary care physician. Now, if your blood is a brown or black color, that could be blood from your previous cycle. So sometimes when your cycle starts, your blood is a little darker than normal because it's like the old blood shedding off the walls, or that wasn't properly cleaned from your walls. So that's why we mentioned before doing things like taking bath soaks, making sure that when you do your bath soaks, you might have certain herbs or essential oils in it to help cleanse you out. This might be the opportunity, if you are into yoni steaming, doing some yoni steaming to help cleanse out that older blood in those walls. It can also mean that you have a low level of progesterone, which of course progesterone and estrogen go in and out the body. The levels fluctuate throughout the month, especially when you are going through the menstruation process, but it also can contribute to your exercise levels, what you're eating, the stress levels you have going on. So you want to be mindful of those things. And lastly, if your menstrual cycle color is a grayish color, this might mean that you have bacterial vaginosis. Again, another opportunity to go to your OBGYN or your primary care physician. All right, guys, so that wraps up Chapter 18 of NNG's formula to kick cramps as a blueprint to naturally get rid of menstrual cramps. Let us give you some additional details. We mentioned to you last week that the last few episodes of the season is going to be a little shorter than normal because it's just us wrapping up and giving some pertinent details that can be essential for you as you go on and figure out the regimen that works for your menstrual cycle journey. All right, guys. So is it normal to discharge throughout the cycle process? Yes. Consistency may change. So you might feel more moist on some days and more wet on some days, especially while you're ovulating, or you might notice some months as you're leading up to your cycle that you're starting to have an excessive amount of discharge, or you're noticing that there's more fluid down there. All right. Now, if your color is fluctuating, we recommend to reevaluate your habits. This means what you're eating, what you're drinking, your sexual activities. We mentioned to you before with eating, being mindful of having different color food groups, making sure you're eating all different types of vegetables and fruits that are seeded, that comes from the ground and that are not man-made, making sure you're consuming a large amount of macronutrients, so a lot of protein, complex carbs, not simple carbs, but complex carbs, healthy fats, so polyunsaturated, monounsaturated, anything that's not saturated fat, trans fat, cis fat, anything that's additional. We want to be mindful of having an abundance of water, having minimum of 8 cups a day, which is 64 ounces. You can actually achieve that by having 4 standard water bottles a day that are at 15.9 ounces per bottle. So having 4 of those a day will give you that minimum of 8 a day. All right. Limiting your alcohol intake, limiting your drinks that have added caffeine and added sugar to them. These things are going to make a difference. When it comes to your sexual activity, making sure that you're being hygienic, making sure you're washing your hands, brushing your teeth, making sure that your partner also is practicing sexual healthy hygienic practices. Make sure you're cleaning your toys properly if you are using toys. If you're using new products, be mindful to read the ingredients, read what is included in those products. And if you're unaware of an ingredient that's listed, look it up and see what that ingredient does to the body. Does it have a side effect? And if it does, if you consume too much of it, what will that do to the body? All right. Wearing underwear too long. We mentioned about if you're going to wear underwear all day, then have an extra pair in your purse so you can switch throughout the day. Being that if you get up in the morning, you put on underwear, you drive to work, you're at work for 8 or 9 hours, you have to drive home, that's 11 hours, almost half a day that you've had that same pair of underwear on, and you've been discharging, you've been sweating, you've been moving around, you've gone to the restroom, you've wiped, you might have excess urine that came out, you might have bacteria from if you had feces, you might have bacteria from if you had to release gas. So things to consider when you're on your cycle or your woman's health or menstruator's health in general. If you have a uterus and don't identify as a woman, this still resonates with you as well. All right. And then leaving period products in or on too long. You'd want to avoid having any type of toxic syndrome. You want to make sure that you're not adding additional bacteria into your body or in your actual vaginal hole, so that that bacteria starts working throughout the body and affecting the womb. All right, guys. So to recap, we did go over chapter 18, which was the menstrual blood chart and Energy's formula to kick cramps ass. To recap, to discuss upcoming news, announcements, and events that we have going on this upcoming Sunday. We do have our last virtual workshop of the year. It is going to be our period action day workshop, and it is a virtual event that's going to be at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that means that it will be 12 p.m. Central Time, and it will be 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys, you can go to the description in this episode and still register for this virtual event. We will be giving away $2,000 worth of prizes. That includes a signed copy of our book. You're going to get a Cramp Elixir tea pack. There's a $50 gift card to our store. You can win a KCA kit, which is our Goddess Box experience that has all the products all the products that we offer, plus additional products from our strategic partners that are in the menstrual health industry as well. And our grand prize is a 3-month menstrual therapy package with us. All right, guys. So you don't want to miss out on those amazing benefits. Be sure to like this podcast, share it with somebody that you feel like will resonate. Feel free to comment to this episode because we are still accepting listener mail. If you don't want to have a public comment, feel free to contact us at contact@kickcrampsass.org, which is our email address, and we will have that information listed in the description of the bio as well. All right. Be sure to also like our YouTube channel. We have additional content that will be conducive in you achieving an optimal menstrual journey. All right, guys. So we want to give a big shout out to JJ Cicero for the banging intro. And if there's not anything else, we want to say gratitude to all of you who were able to tune in for this brief but yet beneficial podcast episode. All right, guys, and in gratitude out to all of our listeners, all of the menstruators out there that are taking in this information, and we're manifesting a positive, productive, and peaceful remainder of the week. Happy October. Welcome to a new month and a menstrual journey ahead. All right, guys. Peace.